Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of SportsLine. I'm Brendan Rigney and alongside of me is Jacob Smolinski.
We have a great show full of your LaSalle sports, news, previews, and highlights.
So, let's get started with some game recaps. Jake?
On Sunday, March 13th, the softball team traveled to Dayton, Ohio to take on the Flyers in doubleheader action. In the first game, the Explorer offense was almost non-existent, only getting 3 hits off of Dayton starter Kayla English. Alicia Auden was on the mound for the Blue and Gold, and while she was able to go the distance, she gave up 4 runs in the process, which earned her first loss in her last 6 appearances. The only run for the Explorers came off the bat of senior Megan Hodgson, who hit a solo home run in the top of the 4th inning. She now leads the Explorers with 7 home runs in the season.
In the second half of the doubleheader, the Explorers found their offense. They had a 3-0 lead in the bottom of the 4th inning, but Dayton was able to put up a 3 spot to tie the game. The Flyers were able to do further damage in the bottom of the 5th as they scored 2 more runs to take a 5-3 lead. However, the Explorers were able to strike back in the top of the 7th. It was then that Suzanne Swanicki hit a clutch single that scored Allie Waddington and Elisa Bitsimis to tie up the game. Alicia Auten was able to break the tie with a 2-out single to drive in the go-ahead run for the Explorers, avoiding the sweep.
And after their split in the doubleheader against Dayton, the Lady Explorers then traveled to Lewisburg, PA to take on Bucknell in a doubleheader on Tuesday. The first game proved to be the epitome of a pitcher's duel, as neither LaSalle nor Bucknell were able to get 2 hits during the entire contest. Alicia Auten, hoping to avenge her loss on Sunday, got the start for the Explorers and did not disappoint. She brought her A game, as she not only threw a complete game, but struck out 6 batters in the process. With Bucknell's pitcher being equally as tough to figure out, it only took 1 run for LaSalle to snag the victory. The winning shot came off the bat of Suzanne Swanicki, who smacked an RBI double in the top of the 8th to seal the Explorer win.
Part 2 of the doubleheader against Bucknell proved to be a far different story for LaSalle. Sophomore Mary-Kate Scott got the start for the Blue and Gold, but had a tough time against the Bucknell offense. She allowed 4 runs on 8 hits and lasted less than 3 innings. Despite the Explorers scoring a run in both the 4th and 5th innings to cut the 4-0 lead in half, their efforts fell quite short. The Bisons were able to score 6 unanswered runs in the 5th and 6th inning to silence any chance of an Explorer victory, resulting in a 10-2 rout of the Explorers. LaSalle now stands with an 11-10 record.
On the men's side, the baseball team welcomed the Rhode Island University Rams to LaSalle for a 3-game series beginning on Friday, March 28th. Although the 2nd and 3rd games were canceled due to weather, Game 1 was played as scheduled. Shane Holman got the start for the Explorers and was rocky at first, allowing 2 runs in the opening frame to the Rams off a pair of 2-out doubles, but LaSalle quickly got those runs back in the bottom of the 2nd with a leadoff triple from Justin Kornblatt, who was knocked in with a single by Kevin Conroy. Conroy would touch home on an RBI groundout from Ryan Welling, and Holman regrouped and pitched 5 strong innings, which was long enough to record his 3rd win of the season. And when the go-ahead run was pushed across the 5th off the back-to-back singles by George Smith Jr., Mark Williams, and Junior Curran Blatt. The bullpen shut the door on the Rams, and the 3-2 victory was sealed by the over-the-shoulder catch by Smith Jr.
On Tuesday, April 1st, the Explorers made up their postponed game from the previous week, taking on the Lehigh University Mountain Hawks in round 1 of the Liberty Bell Classic in what would become quite an exciting contest between the 2 teams.
As the Liberty Bell Classic kicked off, it didn't look like the Explorers had much of a chance. LaSalle cycled through 10 pitchers on the day to try to find an answer to Lehigh's power hitters, and our defense just couldn't keep up. Lehigh put pressure on the Blue and Gold as they racked up a 5-1 lead in the 7th and poking holes in our defense. However, things started rolling for LSU as Josh Savanicus popped a 2-out RBI single in the 8th. Then, as the Explorers came into the 9th, it was make it take it as Joey Ravert started off with a quick single to center field. Nick Tierno worked to walk. JT Chips got another single, and George Smith Jr. capped off this run with a 2-run RBI single to bring the score 5-4. Finally, Justin Kornblatt put the icing on the cake for the game as he drove in Felipe Rivera and George Smith with a 2-run RBI line drive walk-off single to close out the game. It was a wild ending for a wild comeback, and the Explorers managed to stick it out for the win 6-5. This brings LaSalle's record to 6-18, making this Lehigh win a welcome hello. And the Explorers next head off to Richmond, Virginia for a 3-game series to hunt down some more A-10 wins. With a 2-win streak going now, the Blue and Gold look ready to move past the hiccups of the early season and find their groove. We're going to take a short break, but when we get back, Rohan Brown will be sitting down with a right-hand pitcher, Tom Fazzini, of the baseball team, so stick around.
you bored? Are you tired of the same old shows? Having thousands of channels to watch, but there's nothing there? Tired of sitting by yourself on your old mama's striped couch? Sitting in your room by yourself, watching someone who resembles your grandfather? Yeah, I know. I used to be just like you. By now, all hope is lost. You're flipping through channels, wondering what to watch. Boring, 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 boring. Wait, what's this? LaSalle TV. It's new, it's bold, it's great. It's not your ordinary TV.
Hungry for LaSalle TV? Check us out on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Check out our Twitter. And continue watching LaSalle TV.
Welcome back. Heading from the diamond to the track, the women's track team had a successful day at Stony Brook University on Saturday. Starting the day off well, Shanice Johnson took first place in the long jump with a leap of 5.17 meters. Holy crap. This accomplishment made her the only athlete of the day to break the 5-meter mark. The 4x8 team followed with their own success by also placing first with a time of 10 minutes and 3 seconds. In the mile run, senior Anna Rios ran a personal best with a time of 4 minutes and 53 seconds, placing her in third place. Chelsea Harris brought home some accolades of her own by notching the top Explorer time in a 300-meter dash with a time of 44.33 seconds. The Explorers will see action again when they split and attend both the Stanford Invitational and the Colonial Relays.
Over on the men's side, seniors Kevin Day, Nick Ross, and David Ozarowski capitalized for the Explorers as they each placed first in their respective events. Day ran a time of 1 minute and 57 seconds in the 800-meter run, while Ross won the 1 mile with a time of 4 minutes and 1 second. Ozarowski clocked a personal record in the steeplechase and took home the victory with a time of 6 minutes and 12 seconds. The 4x8 relay team also took first place with a time of 8 minutes and 19 seconds. Many others of the team had personal records for the day, and hopefully they keep the momentum coming into the weekend as they will split up and travel to Williamsburg, Stamford, and Princeton to compete.
While the track and field teams were able to compete regardless of the weather, other Explorer squads were barred from their games because of the endless rain this past weekend. The ladies' tennis team had been scheduled to face Holy Family, but its match set for Monday was canceled.
And luckily, before the rain returned, the ladies' tennis squad was able to get back on the court to take on Lafayette on Thursday the 28th. Unfortunately, the Explorers were unable to rack up any points as they were completely shut out by the Leopards 7-0. Most of the matches fell in Lafayette's favor from the very first set.
Men's tennis only got to compete in one match over this past weekend as well. The rain kept the Explorers from taking on city rival St. Joe's on Tuesday, but they were able to play Wednesday as the clouds parted and the sun came out. Madison Elliott and Cody Barr bring us coverage of the tennis match. Check it out.
As the clouds cleared, the men's tennis squad headed to the Belfield courts to take on a tough A-10 team in the Fordham Rams, hoping to stop their 6-match losing streak. Unfortunately, the Explorers had no such luck as they dropped the contest 0-5. On the singles side, 6 Explorers competed, but none were able to overcome the Rams and even win a set. All matches ended in 2 sets, with Dale Fetterman being the only man in blue and gold to even come close to defeating Fordham. Doubles play fared no better as the 3 Explorers teams fell to Fordham. The Explorers looked to redeem themselves against the Temple Owls and return to their winning ways that highlighted the fall season.
All right, thanks, Cody. And now let's tee off with some golf. The LaSalle golf team competed at the Villanova Wildcat Invitational at White Manor Country Club on Monday, March 31st and Tuesday, April 1st. LaSalle as a team shot 62 over par for the event. The Explorers shot their 3rd best score of the season on the final round by tallying 13 over par. Senior Mike Johnson led LaSalle with a final card of +7. In his final round, he shot in 2 over par, 73, which made him tie for 5th place out of the 88 players in the field. Another standout performance was from freshman Joe Markman. who shot his collegiate low score of 73 in the final round. He notched 4 birdies and 9 pars in the day to place him tied for 61st overall. As a team, the Explorers finished tied for 8th out of the 16 schools that participated at the tournament. Up next for the Explorers is the Lafayette Invitational in Hellertown, Pennsylvania.
The rowing team faced the grueling wind and rain this weekend as well. They took to the Cooper River to compete in the Murphy Cup, their first competition in 2 weeks. The men's varsity 8 advanced to the petite final after placing 3rd in their heat. In this race, they came in 4th with a time of 7 minutes and 36.49 seconds, which was enough to beat out the teams from Franklin and Marshall. The junior varsity 8 boat also finished 4th with a time of 7 minutes and 21.65 seconds.
The women's team also competed at the Murphy Cup. The varsity 8 finished 5th in its heat, clocking a time of 8 minutes and 42.33 seconds, and the varsity 4 was in action on the Cooper as well, placing 3rd with a time of 9 minutes and 32.46 seconds. The Explorers outlasted Lehigh by nearly 20 seconds, and by Maritime by nearly 34 seconds. Next for the crew teams is a quad race on Saturday the 5th.
We're going to take another quick break, but when we return, Eddie Dunn will be joining us for some exploring headlines. But first, Rohan Brown sits down with that picture. Stay tuned.
In LaSalle University's communication department, students learn to think and do.
Every semester, communication students create and implement public relations plans for local nonprofit organizations.
And journalism students produce Germantown Beat, an online news source for the local community.
It's great that we can apply what we learn in the classroom in our community.
Philadelphia is the nation's 4th largest media market and has 4 major sports teams.
Being in a major media market allows us to gain great professional experience through internships and co-ops.
The Communication Center is home to the university's cable station.
LaSalle TV reaches over 350,000 homes in Philadelphia and airs mostly student-produced programming.
Our communication department is ranked in the top 10 in North America for relational communication research.
But keeping with the tradition of the De La Salle Christian Brothers, teaching students comes first.
Think, do, with LaSalle Communication. Check us out on Facebook and Twitter.
Hello, I'm Rohan Brown, and welcome to another interview segment here on SportsLine. Today I have Thomas Frazzini. Nice to meet you.
Meet you too.
He's on the baseball team. Season opener today, am I correct?
Liberty Bell Classic opener.
Excited?
Very excited. If we win here, we win next week. We get to play in Citizens Bank Park, the Phillies stadium. So
that'd be pretty epic.
Yeah, it'd be pretty cool.
Who do you play against tonight?
Today's against Lehigh. This is the first time we played them in my 2 years here, so I don't really know how they are, but should see. So,
did you have any pre-season games?
We actually have a spring break trip. This year we were down in North Carolina. We played Western Carolina, and then we went to Tennessee. We played Tennessee. Yeah. So those games are more so to like get us ready for the up north games, A-10 play, everything. So it's a good start for us. Gets us ready.
How did you guys do?
We actually usually when we go down there we struggle a little bit. We only came away with 1 win this year, but we were in all the games. But really the main focus on those games is getting ready for coming up north. And as it saw in our first A-10 series, we were in all the games, and then we had a win against Villanova, a win against Rhode Island, and then hopefully carrying it on to today against Lehigh. So.
Okay, so besides the A-10 teams, who do you face?
This season we played Campbell University in North Carolina. We also played USC Upstate in South Carolina. And then as the season goes on, we'll play Delaware, we'll play Lafayette, Delaware State. So a lot of more local teams as the season goes on, and we're more around the northern area.
Are there any teams in the A-10 you feel as if will be a huge obstacle for you?
The team that was picked to win the preseason rankings was St. Louis, who we actually have already beat this season in a tournament at Duke University.
All right.
So that was one of the teams that we knew coming into the year we had to beat. Also, Virginia Commonwealth is 20-4 right now, and they seem to look like they're coming into their own and becoming a pretty good team in the A-10.
Okay,
so.
Pretty cool. What position do you play?
I'm actually a relief pitcher. I usually only pitch 1 to 2 innings a game, if that. So probably between the 6th and 8th inning usually. only.
So what does by relief you mean?
When the starter's done, if he's running out of gas or if they want to make a pitching change, I'm usually one of the first guys that they'll look to. So to come in, and if there's a jam, to slow it down, or just to maybe get 3 outs so we can get to our closer to end the game for winning, or a situation like that.
All right, so were there any other schools you were looking at besides LaSalle?
Out of high school, I'm actually a recruited walk-on here. I'm not on scholarship money. So LaSalle was really my one not only option, but my main option to play baseball. I was just going to go to a couple places to just be a student. But when I had the opportunity to come here and get a chance to play baseball, I figured I would take advantage of it. So.
That's pretty cool. So how has LaSalle been treating you so far?
It's been pretty good. I mean, the last year with all the basketball stuff was a really good time. I mean, Sweet 16 was awesome. This year it was obviously not as much as off campus stuff, but I've been doing good in school. I feel comfortable. I'm a business major, so I feel comfortable in the business school and everything. But overall, I like the school. I like everything about it. I like being in the city. It's close to a lot of stuff, and
pretty good city. So let's get more personal. I always like to do this with my guests. What made you take up baseball?
Well, when I was younger, I played a bunch of sports. I played baseball, basketball, football, and when I was younger, obviously size is a big obstacle in football and basketball, and I really didn't hit a growth spurt until high school. So. But one thing I was always good at was baseball, throwing a baseball, knowing the sport of baseball. My dad brought me up in knowing watching Phillies games, everything. So that was always like my true first love as a sport. And once high school came around and I started maybe getting a few looks for college, I knew that I wanted to take it to the next level and maybe take advantage of being a Division I athlete. So.
All right, So do you have any rituals before you play? Any music, dance moves?
Not really. I mean, usually just on weekends we have a team breakfast before our weekend series. So just showing up to that. We like to stay loose here. Like we're not really we're intense during the games, but off the field and other than that, we like to stay loose. We don't really like to tighten ourselves up. So that'd probably be one ritual we have is we're loose. We're a tight group of people. We all got each other's backs. But other than that, no real rituals, I would say.
Okay. So off the field, what do you do for fun?
Well, I actually live in an off-campus house, so usually we'll watch games over at the houses. We'll I don't know, hang out, do usual college student stuff.
Did you have your bracket filled out?
Yeah, I had it filled out. I had Michigan State winning actually.
Really?
So I kind of got busted this last weekend, but yeah.
But who do you have winning the whole thing?
Florida.
Florida.
So I'm still in that. I had Florida going. So yeah.
Okay, so. I always like to ask this question. What is your favorite Disney movie?
My favorite Disney movie? Let's think about Disney movies from when I was a kid. I liked Mulan.
Mulan was pretty good. I'll give you that.
I will say, yeah. Got you pretty hyped. Got you pretty entertaining movie, I would say.
All right. If Mulan was out the picture, what would you go with?
If Mulan was out of the picture, Disney movies. Are we counting Toy Story? Is Toy Story Disney?
You could do Toy Story.
I think I'd go Toy Story. That's another one of my childhood favorites, I guess.
All right.
But less, I guess, like more new animation kind of stuff.
True. A lot of, going off topic or whatever. But thank you for coming by. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll be back after this commercial break.
Welcome back. Now, let's send it over to Eddie Dunn, who's here to deliver your headlines for the week. Take it away, Eddie.
Thanks, Brendan. This past year, LaSalle has been home to quite a few freshman standouts. Among them is lacrosse player Tony Massetti, who earned Rookie of the Week honors in the Atlantic 10 for the second time this season. Massetti earned her second hat trick last week against California and led the team in points in the month of March with 13 goals and 2 assists. Of those 13 goals, 10 were scored in the last 3 games. Sticking over at McCarthy Stadium, the men's soccer team was invited to join the 5 other Philadelphia Division I teams for the second Super Soccer Sunday. The event is for the benefit of children from grades 1 to 8 who wish to learn more about soccer and teamwork. The Philadelphia Soccer Six is working with the nonprofit Starfinder Foundation, which says that it hopes to merge youth leadership and a love of learning with soccer, educational, and personal development programs. After the players work with the kids, the teams will scrimmage in a brief tournament to be put on display before the children. Community service is the name of the game. The Philadelphia Big Five has just announced that it is teaming up with some overseas friends, the Sports Changes Life Foundation. The Ireland-based organization will work in tandem with the Big Five to give out 2 full scholarships each year to scholar athletes at participating schools. They are looking for students with an interest in traveling across the Atlantic and working in Ireland or Northern Ireland. Currently, LaSalle Diana of the women's soccer team and Michelle McCaggern of the basketball team are overseas as Victory Scholars. And finally, from current student athletes to the future, the field hockey team has inked 7 national letters of intent this offseason. The Explorers will be augmented by student athletes from across the East Coast, including field hockey powerhouse schools like Ocean City and Wall Township in New Jersey.
Well, thanks for joining us, Eddie. We're going to take another quick break, but when we return, Gavin Lichtenstein will be dishing out this week's marquee matchup, so stick around.
Hungry for LaSalle TV? Check us out on YouTube. Follow us on Facebook. Check out our Twitter. And continue watching LaSalle TV.
Hello and welcome to another edition of Marquee Matchup. I'm Gavin Lichtenstein, and this week we're going to take an in-depth look at the LaSalle Lady Explorers lacrosse team as they take on the University of Massachusetts Minutemen to start A10 play on Friday, April 4th in Massachusetts. The Lady Explorers are cruising on a 3-game win streak, with their latest victim being the University of California Golden Bears in the 10-6 win to close out the month of March. The month of March was not very lucky for the young team on 20th and Alany, as they finished the month 3-3 and closed non-league play at 6-3 overall. The Minutemen are coming off their first loss of the season to end the month of March against Northwestern University. The last time these two teams met, the ladies of Massachusetts earned the 20-11 win over the Explorers at McCarthy Field. Now that leads us to our key players of the game. Caitlin Fay, a sophomore attack for the young Explorers, leads the team in both goals and assists with 17 goals and 5 assists. Fay was selected for the Atlantic 10 All-Rookie team last spring. Fay is one of the fastest women on the team as she uses her speed to rock the cradle down the field. Not far behind is junior midfield Caitlin Barastan with 16 goals and 3 assists. The native from Runnymede, New Jersey was named Atlantic 10 All-Conference team, Atlantic 10 Academic All-Conference team, and Philadelphia Inquirer All-Academic team in the area. Last spring in 2013, Barastan led the team in goals and total points with 45 goals and 45 points. Both ladies have a tremendous impact on the team, on the field and off. Both will have to play the outside, get good shots, and use their speed for the Explorers to add to their winning streak. Now that leads us to our keys to the games. Wings to go. The Explorers bring a powerful, fast, and dynamic line to the midfield attack position, especially in 2014. The Explorers need to control the game on the outside while using their speed to separate from the competition. Stay in control. Playing catch-up is very difficult in any game, but especially during league play against the 5-time Atlantic 10 champions in Massachusetts. The Explorers need to win the small battles, win the matchups, and the loose balls to stay relevant in the conversation. And last but not least, in between the pipes, freshman Gabby Antoni is projected to be keeper for the ladies in gold, averaging 6.5 saves per game, followed by a save percentage just under 500. The experienced defense led by senior defender Caitlin Colbridge, strong pressure and aggression will be key to starting the conference play in the win column. Well, that does it for another edition of Marquee Matchup. Make sure to check in next week for a full analysis, recap of all the Explorers games from the week. Have a great week on the field and off. Go Explorers!
Welcome back. If you can't make it out to this week's Marquee Matchup, be sure to tune in next week for our coverage. Also be sure to keep up with this weekend's other sporting events by following us on Twitter at SportsLine LTV. We post game updates and sneak peeks into the upcoming show.
And also check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/LaSalleTV. We welcome you to send us your thoughts and suggestions about the show on either website.
For Jake and Eddie and our entire SportsLine team, I'm Brendan Rigney, and we'll see you at the game.